Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. A very warm welcome. It feels so good to be back with all of you for another Skilling Future Masterclass. It's been a while since our last live session. It was with Dari, and honestly, we've missed these conversations because this is a space where we get to know what's ongoing. What do you guys think? What are the other things that we need to work on? The questions, the collective energy that this community brings every single day. At Skilling Future, as all of you know, our mission has been about empowering educators and innovators to not just keep up with change, but also to lead with it confidently, creatively, and responsibly. As AI continues to reshape how we learn, teach, and create, it's also transforming how we communicate, how we share ideas, lessons, and stories. And today's session is all about that intersection where creativity meets technology. In this masterclass, we'll explore how tools like Descript are making audio and video creation more accessible than ever, helping educators, trainers, and creators tell their stories in a smarter, faster, and more authentic way. We are thrilled to have an incredible speaker with us who truly embodies the spirit of creative innovation, someone who has spent the last 2 years helping educators understand, experiment, and excel with AI. Without further ado, let's welcome our speaker for today's session, Aaron Makelky, an educator, creator, and AI practitioner who's showing how technology can empower teachers and learners with confidence. With over 15 years of instructional experience, Aaron is passionate about professionals and educators develop AI skills that make learning and work more meaningful, efficient, and human-centered. As an AI integration consultant, he has guided individuals, schools, and small to medium businesses in adopting AI to streamline workflows, enhance content creation, and build a strong foundation of understanding. He currently serves as Community and Developer Relations Marketing Manager at Descript and is the co-founder of Future Proof You, a virtual school helping professionals build career-ready skills for the future. Beyond his consulting and teaching, Aaron is a dynamic content creator, reaching millions through his engaging videos, blogs, and social media content. And yes, even those viral TikToks, his creativity and clarity makes AI feel less intimidating and more empowering. From schools to corporate spaces, from mindset coaching to AI strategy, Aaron's work embodies innovation, empathy, and a deep belief in technology's power to elevate human potential. Please welcome me in joining Aaron Makelky to lead today's masterclass. Thank you so much, Aaron, for joining us.
Yeah, that might be the best intro I've ever gotten. I should bring you to all of these and let you be my intro person.
I
I'm
would love to
flattered.
do that.
I'm flattered. Yes. And I would love to know in the chat. I know about half of the names, but where are you tuning in from? I am quite certain I'm the only person here from Wyoming, which is the least populated state in the US. If anybody's seen the best cultural reference would probably be the TV series Yellowstone, which was a cultural phenomenon in the US the last couple of years. I'm not sure if it's big where you are, but Yellowstone Park is mostly in the state of Wyoming. So it's morning for me, but not too early. And I know for some, like Andy, it's right in the middle of their Saturday afternoon. And then a few of you that are further east, it's in your evening. So I appreciate you joining and let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. France. All right. Yeah, so the topic today, here's how this came about. Andy is a friend. I've known and followed her on social media and been in some of these Zooms and things that Skilling Future's done for over a year, maybe two. And we were talking about how we edit video and audio. And as a teacher, I was a classroom teacher for more than 16 years, until a month ago. I started recording lectures, I started doing screen shares, and I just realized that it gave me a lot of leverage to not have to repeat myself, to not have to type everything out again, even though I just said it maybe in a lesson. And Andy and I were just talking about how we did that and the best tools to use, and thought anybody who is creating content, giving lectures, doing sub plans when you are gone, if you're going to have somebody guest lecture in your class or cover your class when you're gone. I know a lot of people are doing coaching, consulting type things where you're doing screen recordings, and just wanted to show you how I approach that because I spend probably half of my work time is somehow connected to creating and editing videos. So we will hop into a screen share here and let's see how this does that kind of show up over my shoulder and is visible. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay, perfect. So here's the origin story. I'm a teacher in a classroom. I wear a shirt and tie. I teach high school social studies. These are American presidents behind me. And one morning while I was working out, I was watching someone's YouTube channel talk about how AI is changing education. This was early in 2024. And I realized, man, when you add Chat GPT and all these tools that are going to follow to the classroom, I didn't know how it was going to change, but I knew it would. And I saw these people having conversations about it on YouTube and LinkedIn and TikTok. And I did what most married men do. I went to my wife, this is my wife, Megan, and I said, these people aren't really doing anything crazy or better than me. I don't think they're smarter than me, but it's frustrating because I have all these thoughts and opinions on how AI is going to change education. And she looked at me and she said, Aaron, well, you know the difference between those people with followings online and you? And I said, no, what is it? And she goes, well, they make videos. And it sounds so obvious, but she's like, how would anyone find you? How would they know what your ideas are? You don't make videos. And basically, she grabbed me in the living room and said, just start making videos. And I had every excuse in the world how I'm not a content creator. I didn't even look at social media. I didn't have TikTok on my phone, YouTube, none of that. And I just started both as a teacher and kind of personally. And she was right. My students started teaching me how to do this stuff. I started learning the tools and how to edit. And all of a sudden, people started liking it and following me and asking me to speak. And I attribute really all of that to the power of video. And I'm going to show you one extreme example of the leverage that video gives you. We've all had a thought that we said to somebody, let's say a coworker, hey, I have this opinion. And let's say it's a 30-second thought. I had one day when I walked out of my classroom. This is me in January of this year, so almost a year ago. I had a student wear some Meta smart glasses to my classroom, and I didn't know what those were. I kind of caught him wearing them in my classroom. All I did when I walked out, instead of having a 30-second conversation with a coworker, I had a 30-second conversation with my phone, and I turned it into a video. If I would have said my thoughts to my coworker, that 30-second conversation would have got 30 seconds of playtime. One person would have heard it once. Instead, what happened is 12 point something million people heard it for 67,000 hours. And that isn't to say all of you have to go on TikTok. I'm just showing you that's the power of leverage you get from creating video. So for you, you might say, I don't do TikTok, or I know some countries don't even allow TikTok. It could be a YouTube video. It could even just be a lecture or a lesson that you gave where the students in your classroom might have seen it once, but there's somebody out there online who would want to watch it and you're not capturing it in video. Or you had a student who was gone, and instead of having to repeat the entire thing, you could say, here's a link to the video, or it's posted somewhere. And that's really the power of videos. It just gives you leverage. I didn't have to repeat myself 12.3 million times. I only said it once, but I put it in the right place, and video is what allows me to do that. So we can go a bunch of different ways here, but when I speak, I always give people something called the 90-second test. So clock starts now. You have a lot of things you could be doing on your Saturday. Is this going to be worth sticking around for the next 50 minutes? What I want you to be able to see is you can do a lot with video that you may not have thought of. And I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can use tools to leverage your video into a bunch of different formats. Now, I'm a content creator, I'm a marketer, I'm an educator. I do a lot of different things. But if you take something like a video podcast or a video lecture, some long form video content, with one or two tools, you can turn it into all of these different things. So you could post that somewhere where your long form videos live. It could also be your LMS, your learning management system, if you're a teacher or professor. You could go find clips from the long form and post those somewhere. You could take the text from the transcript of your video and do a blog. You could do email newsletters. You could do classroom updates for your students. You could turn the short form text into posts wherever you're posting. I'm a huge believer that all educators should have a podcast because we talk all day, but do you capture it and use it? And you would be surprised who wants to listen to you talk because sometimes it feels like your students in the classroom don't, but there are people outside that do. And you can even do screenshots. Here's a cool one that I saw. I know I have a few fellow LinkedIn creators in the room where someone took a video, screenshotted three different frames, and then just put a caption over it. If anyone has a name for this style of content, I didn't have one, so I just kind of made this up. I've been calling this style a caption compilation. It's kind of like three screenshots with captions, but it's in one image. I love that style. And again, that's coming from a video that was recorded. Screenshot the frames, put the captions over. There's your post. You could do that to be a poster in your classroom. So that was 90 seconds. Do you want to get better at using video and go through some real examples? If so, stay. If not, enjoy your Saturday, and I will not be offended and want to show what we're doing to everybody who does stay. So let's begin with a finished product, shall we? This tool is called Descript. Full disclosure, I work there now. I'm not a salesperson. I don't care if you pay for it or not. At the end, I have a code to give you 3 months free. And if you already use it, that's always disappointing because, like, man, but I'm a user. Do I get anything for it? It'll give you 35% off. So it's useful for anybody, whether you use it or not. And if you have your own preferred video editing tool, there are lots of options. I'm not against any of them, but this one is called Descript. Here's the finished product. I have a transcript on the left. I have the video preview on the right. And then down here, I have a timeline. My biggest encouragement to people who are not professional video editors, I'm not, I'm an amateur. This looks intimidating. And what's really cool about this tool is if I drag this down as an educator, as a coach, a content creator, whatever you're doing, does this look intimidating to have text and a video preview? Does this look like something you could use? Like, oh yeah, I could figure out this app without the waveforms and the timeline and the cutting tools. And what's cool about this is you'll see there's words that are crossed out here. Well, if I go in here and I know you don't have the audio, and I say, you know what, that part right there of my video I don't like, and I just highlight those words and click remove, you'll notice it deletes the video and the audio. So the thing that really endeared me to Descript when I started using it over 2 years ago was, wait a second, I wasn't down here. There was no timeline. Like these things, I still don't understand what they are. They're called a waveform. These are intimidating, and I see all these people with little blade tools and they're cutting and they're dragging, and I'm like, I just want a good video that cuts out the ums and the uhs or the retakes. And I can edit a doc. I can type in a Google Doc or Microsoft Word or whatever, but this stuff is intimidating. And what you can do is just get rid of that and edit it like a document. So my example video here, I had a fellow AI educator who said, I want to do a training for AI tools for teachers. And they said, could you make me a video? And my whole goal with this was not to just be a content expert, but was to give him a video that had branding. So this is the logo of his company. It's called Olive and Rose Education. And then take his exact brand colors and put those in the captions. And then anytime there was another scene, as this loads, I just wanted it to look really good. So I have this little background here that's a gradient. There's rounded corners. I mean, the standard I would compare this to is a lot of us start recording things in Zoom, and there's nothing wrong with recording in Zoom. But what you end up with is just one frame, and it's really hard to resize or show your screen or make your face bigger. Whereas if you record in Descript, you could say, you know what? I don't need myself to be that big, and I want to drag it to this side and move this over here. And those are things you can't do if you just capture something on Zoom.
Aaron, sorry that I interrupt. I think that your image froze. I don't know if it's happening for the rest of you, but it sort of like froze for us over here.
Myself and my screen, or just my screen?
Both.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I see everybody else, but let me hit like stop share and then reshare, and then maybe
Thank
that
you.
will.
Maybe it
I'm
was just me, but internet is a thing. That's a problem in my area, so I don't know if it's just me.
okay. Am I moving now or am I still frozen?
You're moving? Okay.
I see Shahida giving me a thumbs up, which I appreciate the feedback.
All right, let's go.
Okay. And I'll show you like how do you get this finished product. But my point with this was I captured what was on my screen. This would be Magic School, and if you're in the education space, you've probably heard of this tool. And then my webcam is capturing me, and then I make it look nice, and I can go in here and edit out. I said, you will notice there's a green little icon. I didn't like that. And just with the click on the transcript, I could cut out the audio and the video to make it look nice. And I wanted to deliver this to the person who contracted me to make it and have them say, wow, the way you did my logo and my exact colors and the captions fit my brand. It looks like a professional video product. Like you must have hired someone to do this or be a full-time video editor yourself. And I'm not. And one of the standards I think about delivering video content to people is I want them to think that I paid someone to do it for me. It looks that good. But really, when I'm working on this, I saved a layout, and with one click, I could get all my screens formatted and the background there and have all of my assets that are in this project all in one place. So, how do we get there? Before I show you the process, like how would I start making a video like this? If I was going to do a screen share, if I'm coaching or teaching someone or delivering instructional content, where do you start? Does anybody have a question from what you've seen so far that you want me to explain or go over, especially if my screen was frozen the first time that I did it? And Andy, I'll let you kind of surface questions in the chat if there are any.
Not for the now.
Okay, perfect. So, how do we get a good finished product, a video that looks like this? I like to brainstorm and build outlines on a digital whiteboard. So a lot of people I know use Canva. I use Canva every day. It's great. Figma also has FigJam. If you're in the Apple ecosystem, they have the Freeform app. What matters is where can I put images, links, outlines, and just kind of build out what's going to go into my video. So as a viewer today, I want you to think about what would be the typical video that I would make. Is it a lecture from classroom instruction? Is it coaching that I deliver to a client on something that I'm an expert? Is it a YouTube video, a video podcast, whatever that is? The first thing that I think about is what assets will I need to make this video besides me talking on camera? So what I do is I go into a new whiteboard, and this is Canva, but you can do this anywhere. I go, okay, does it matter what font that I use? Is there any kind of a logo? And what's cool, if you're doing this for yourself, just make your own. Do I need to know specific brand colors so that when I go in to make any of these graphics and assets, I can make sure it's the exact color that I need? And I like to put all those in one place. And that's my branding. So for you, it might be your personal brand, it might be your school. Not sure why that just jumped around. But for me, this was what I needed it to match. And then I like to do a bulleted outline and say, okay, what's the topic of my video going to be? And what components do I need to include? So I just went through. I didn't use AI for this. You can use AI for this. And said, okay, I need this to be 10 to 20 minutes. Once it's edited, I'm going to record it into Descript. I'm also going to give them a one pager that's a takeaway that has all the links and things. So here's the main sections of my video. I need an intro. I talk about what I do. I give them an objective, and I just kind of write out the script. I don't like to script things word for word for my videos because then you play this game of trying to read it off your screen, but then your eyes are not on the camera. There are some AI tools that fix eye contact. I just think it's best to not use those because sometimes they look creepy. And once you use them, people always wonder, are you using that on all of your videos? I only know because I've made that mistake. So I like to go, okay, if I get to the section here on ChatGPT and I have 2 bullet points, I can fill in the rest without having to read off a script so that I can make good eye contact while I record my video. So what we have so far is we have the brand, colors, logo, fonts, etc. And maybe you don't care about that. Now I have an outline of my video, including how long I want it to be once it's edited. You'll see down here, the video is supposed to cover these 4 tools. So then I go down and say, I'm going to make a little section on my whiteboard. The reason I like whiteboards is I want my text and my screenshots. So this is just a screenshot. You could tell I was in a browser. But then I also have links. And the thing about a whiteboard is it allows me to just have one tab open and work with all these different types of content. Because a Google Doc is not a great place to put images and links and text. But a digital whiteboard is. It plays nice with any kind of content format. I just say, okay, I'm going to do an intro, and then I'm going to talk about Magic School. Here's my outline. Here's a link to the resources, and here's a screenshot so that I can save these or download these and put them into my video. And I'll show you how that works together. When I'm on the Magic School section, you can tell right here in my transcript. Let's take a look at Magic Student and show you what it looks like when you get inside. We are inside. And here's what you see. There's my background gradient, which I uploaded into this project and named my file. I'm not always the best at this. Blue to black gradient. That's something I just made in Canva. And then I set up the captions to be the exact font that they wanted with the exact color of blue. And then I got their logo in there. And what you do in Descript is you just go hit record, and it's not going to let me record while I'm on a Zoom. But when I do, I just say, I want to capture me on the camera. So you might be on a laptop. It's going to use your selfie camera to capture you and what's on my screen. And unlike a Zoom, you're going to get two different tracks. You're going to get the video and audio feed from your camera that's totally separate from the video and the audio of what's on your computer. So if you're doing something on your computer that has sound, it will actually capture the sound, not just from the microphone of your laptop, but also from, say, you're playing music in your browser or something that has a sound effect. And it'll just put that in the script. And then I want you to notice there's going to be a little transition here because the square indicates a new scene. If you're a timeline person, you'll also see there's this little logo, this little hourglass icon that shows there's a transition between scenes. So it goes from this scene is just my camera in the same office that I'm in right now, and watch how it switches. It animated the captions. So we'll go in slow motion here. See how it's moving those frame by frame? And it's taking the logo from relatively bigger and tucking it down in the corner so it's not covering me up. When people watch videos that you make here, they go, wow, you know how to animate stuff and move it around your screen? And one of my little secrets is, nope, I just turn on smart transitions. And anytime I do a scene change, it automatically animates from one to the next in a smooth frame by frame way. And you can, if you want to be detail oriented, you can like go in and make it slower, faster, change the easing. I don't usually mess with that. But people see that and they go, oh, wow, it fades out, they animate over, it fades in, and it's all set up. Yeah, it was automatic. Like I didn't sit there and keyframe it. If you know what keyframes are, you understand how much of a pain in the butt that is to animate. And when you get a layout like this that you enjoy, what's really cool is you can save it and say, hey, the next time I have a screen recording and a selfie cam video going and I want it lined up same corner radius, same dimensions, you could just call it whatever you want. I'll call it Skilling Future Screen Share and say it's a screen layout. And the next time I put a screen recording in here, I can just go to my layouts and say, boom, set up my screen just like this. And I don't have to spend time dragging it, centering it, making it look exactly the same. So no matter what app you're doing this in, and if you're editing videos in Canva, just for the record, I love Canva. I use it all the time. But don't edit videos in Canva. It's so painful because you're in the timeline and you're dragging and dropping things. Whatever you're doing your video editing in, find ways to duplicate things like a layout, a template. Get one project that you like, and then instead of starting with a brand new project, go in and do a new composition or copy it. Because what was really cool when I made this video, I did a decent job. And the person said, wow, that looks so good. Could you make me another one? Well, here's what was amazing because we approached video creation like this. I already have all these assets that I need. So if this person or this school wants me to make another video, I have all of this stuff. It's in Descript as a project, and I saved all of those scenes. So I know I'm going to do a screen share on the next one. Since I made this a layout that I can save, the next time I go to screen record, I can click one button and it sets everything up like that. So let's just pause for a second. questions? Does anybody have but I edit videos in this and want to know what's different or better? Does anybody have a use case of a video that you're like, yeah, this isn't really the style of videos that I make?
By the way, while we are, like asking questions live and all that, can you stop sharing the screen, Aaron? Because I'm having, you frozen sometimes. Thank you. And try to figure out what's going on while you guys do your thing. And then when you're ready to share again, just let me know.
So if there are any um, okay, any fillers or any other thing, something that you would want to remove from the video. When that is removed from the video, is the transition smooth with the resultant product that you have?
Yeah, so let's say if you cut some words out in the middle of a sentence, is it
Yeah.
going to sound jumpy? That's a great question. I will show you. There is essentially a default way to do that. So let's say right here in my transcript where it says magic student, and then you can tell there's a crossed out, you will notice. That's video that I cut out of the transcript. What's cool when I click on this word in the transcript, it also puts, this is called a playhead. It puts my playhead in the same spot as the transcript is showing. And if you want to make sure that those cuts are smooth, what you can do is you can zoom in. So I'm pinching to zoom on my trackpad. These waveforms, and 99% of the time, it does a really good job because you want a little bit of flat. So this is silence essentially. And you don't want it to come in where there's already a sound. If for some reason, when you deleted the words from the transcript, it was harsh like this, so we're cutting off part of when I was still talking, what you can do is just go to that word and say, okay, I see how when I zoom in, this waveform is not flat. And I just grab the handle, that's this icon, and I extend it out until those waves are flat. And then you go, okay, I want about 1/10 of a second of silence on each end. So same thing the other way. If that started mid-word, which it rarely does, and you go, oh, that cut sounds very harsh. Like I changed words in an instant and it's just not natural. We all know it. If you watch TikTok and Instagram, you see that all the time. It kind of sounds like they're hiccuping or something. What you can do is just grab where that cut is and drag it until you get it flat. And I know you guys can't hear my audio, but then what I always do is I back up about 2 words, put my playhead here, and hit the space bar and go, how does that sound? And it does a really good job most of the time, the vast majority of the time. If it's a scene change, like from here where it's just selfie video to here, if you don't like how that does it automatically with a smart transition, you might say, that's too fast. You can just change the time or the easing, which is basically the rate of change. And I'm not a professional video editor. So if you are, hey, go crazy and have fun with these. Most of the time, I just leave it on natural. But you could go back and say, I want to watch this in slow motion and make that a little bit slower. So there's a natural pause when I change scenes, or it sounds better than jumping right into the next thing. Does that answer your question, Sana?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Somebody give me a video use case because I want to know in the audience, like if you're going to go record a video this week, what would be the style and the topic so that I can give you guys some relevant examples?
Can I start? Well, oh, Robert, hi. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Thanks.
You.
I use Camtasia and I just finished working on the scripts for 10 tips for e-moderation. And there basically there's going to be one video that is maximum 3 minutes introducing the series, and then 60-second short videos after that.
Okay. And are those short videos clips from the longer one, or are those distinct standalone videos?
They're standalone. I use my phone. No, I never record on screen. I always use my phone so that I can like level up, and I also use a script reader right through on the phone. It works pretty well, and I've had the same kind of feedback. It's like, oh, who's doing your editing? It's like me.
And is that not the best feeling when people think you're either a professional or you outsource it and you just...
Absolutely, yes, it's worth all the hours. But I totally agree with you. Creating an asset library is what saves my time from when I started a year ago, and now is at least 40% less time because I have them ready and I know where I want to put things. So you just go and look at them rather than building them one by one, as you say.
And everybody in here knows they should make more videos, but we all have the same reason we don't. We go, but it takes so much work. Like it's just too much time. I want to know, Robert, so how do you build that library, or how do you duplicate things so you don't have to come in and start brand new, whether it's in Camtasia or any app, it doesn't matter. Like, what's your system for doing that?
Well, on Camtasia, because I also use CapCut, but I don't know if I can say that. I don't like their
You can
data
say
privacy.
anything you want on here, Robert.
Yeah, I don't like their private data privacy, so I stopped using it. With Camtasia, what I do is when I have a new, because I like, when I'm saying something, I use lots of visuals rather than text on screen to support my message. And so whenever I have some sort of special effect where the main concept icon comes up and there's like, I don't know, stars coming out or so, or there's a transition, I use the original one, and then the different steps, once it is ready, then I group them and save them to my library with a specific name, just as you did.
Yep. And I need to take my own advice better. I'll show you an example. Naming the files in your library. It takes 10 seconds for each one of those. So say Robert has a cool effect and he knows he wants to reuse it. The default name is never helpful to search or find it. So if you go in and manually change it to star effect animation or something, it will save you, the extra 10 seconds will save you 10 minutes in the future. Cool. So let's jump back in then. I see we have people coming in that weren't here before. So if you guys have questions, we're just looking at systems for making videos and talking some tips to save you time.
And by the way, the tool that we're doing the demo is, for those that are just coming in, is Descript. The link is on takeaway number 3. And I just wanted to add that the first time that I used it, it was because Aaron just mentioned it, and I was like, okay, let me see how what's the fuzz. And I didn't know anything about the tool. He was just like, just go there and do it, because he assumes that I know a lot of of editing, and I was like, no, I don't. And it is very intuitive. That is one of the things that I loved about this tool, that is very intuitive. Like, it's so friendly when it comes for the user. Things don't have necessarily super technical names, so you can just go ahead and logically go ahead and try to say like, okay, I want to do this transition, or I would like to do maybe like add a talking head because I want to, for example, describe, maybe it's for a class and you're recording a class. So in that case, you can do all those things, and it was so intuitive. I have to confess that I'd even watch, the tutorial videos. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, and let's see how it goes. And it was like that easy. And yeah, I just wanted to add that, those 2 cents, because it is that great.
Yeah. And I think the look on my face when we talked about, oh, you're using Canva to edit videos. I have used Canva to edit videos. And again, I love Canva. It's amazing for a lot of things. Even their new video tool that came out last week,
Hmm.
it's so hard to use. For anything, if you did more than a minute long video, it's miserable.
I
So
know. The thing is that, for example, for the same reasons that, for example, Robert stopped using, CapCut, I was like the same tune, like, nope, I'm not, like doing it anymore. So, I was using Canva anyways, like perhaps most of the people in the audience. So it felt very safe, and they already had like a lot of things for educators. They already have their platform for education. So it was like, okay, let's do it here. And since I've got a lot of patience, I just took a deep breath and like, here we go, right? But it does take a lot of your time. Like something simple takes you over 30 minutes sometimes, and or an hour. And that it's a lot. I mean, so in that case, one of the things that I was really grateful for you sharing this app with us. Therefore, here we are. It's that I just introduced, like, uploaded the video, just added a couple of things that I wanted in the prompt, and bam, it was done. Of course, that I had to iterate and do things because I am very picky about the style, but it was just done. So thank you.
Yes. And I'll show you so Robert can quietly judge me here. These are my project files. Some of them are named, like Magic Student Paused, Magic Student Locked. Those were features I was showing. I took 10 seconds to change those names. Each take with the video, it just knows Aaron Makelky is the speaker and it labels it, which I'll show you why that's really handy in a moment. But I could probably do a better job naming these. Here's my rule with naming files. If I think I'm going to reuse them somewhere else, I should name them. So let's say, for example, I make another chapter video for this Olive and Rose education. You can tell I named the gradient so that I don't have to go back to my hard drive and grab it and drag it in my project. I can just search in my project files and say, I'm typing in gradient if you can't read that. There's my two gradients. So name your files, and I need to be better about that. Another thing I want to show you that's really handy with this, because the transcript is the default way, and it's a low intimidation factor. When you're done with your video, you can do a lot of different things. And talking to this group, I know we have people from all around the world, Pakistan, Spain, I'm in Wyoming. You can get your subtitle file, so that's an SRT, so that when you put it on YouTube, you want your own subtitles. You do not want the auto-generated ones. That's huge, especially if you know you have people that are going to be listening in different languages. That's built in, and you can even export that just as a standalone file. Like I just want an SRT file. Another one that's really handy is you can export just the transcript. So I don't want any images or video, but I want to know everything that I said. I can go in and say, label the time in 60-second intervals. Now I'm the only person talking. But what's cool is you can pick your file type if you want a Word doc or a Markdown file. But say you just want to copy that to your clipboard, because I know we have a lot of AI users in here. Let's say I go to ChatGPT now, and I'm going to start a new conversation and say, give me a let's do 3-paragraph summary of the main points from this video transcript. And I just hit paste, and you can tell it labels the time and who's talking. So if you had a podcast or a guest lecture or something, my point is that's a resource that you can find ways to use. So if it's an education setting, why wouldn't you post the transcript as a Google Doc to go along with your video? If you're a content creator, so let's say you're Andy and you make this video for social media and you go, what are some little highlights or clips that I could pull out of that? You can use the transcript to find those. You could change languages and offer that as like a translation. So there's tons you can get out of your video. Let's say you wanted a thumbnail. And I go back to the beginning when my view is just me, and that's not a very flattering frame. So I'm just going to take my playhead here and try to find one that my eyes are open, maybe even smiling if I can. Let's say that's one that I enjoy. I can just hit this screenshot button right here in full resolution because I'm recording this in 4K. And it's going to essentially take a screenshot of that frame. And I could, turn off the captions or the branding if I wanted to. So maybe when I go to post this lesson, that's going to be the frame that I put at the top of the doc. Or if I'm a YouTuber, making thumbnails is so important, but such a pain. Instead of going up and taking still images, just find 5 or 10 frames as you're watching your video and essentially just screenshot those. And then that puts that right in your project files. You get a folder called saved frames. And there's my still image. If you want to go to Canva, Figma, somewhere to go edit because you're a little bit more technical, you can just download that to put it wherever you want. The last thing that I want to show before we do some questions, and I have a coupon code for you guys, is let's look at clipping. Because I think a lot of us, I don't care where in the world you are, what your topic or expertise is, you should probably be posting clips of stuff somewhere, and you should do more. If you're doing some, you should do more. I know I should too. Here's a different project in the same app. I did a TV interview. This guy is with like a very small, not impressive TV network, like the least cool TV network in America, if you know PBS. And it labeled the speaker paragraph. This is his name, Steve. And you'll see his name is green and then my name is purple. And what's really cool is when we talk down here, even our waveforms match the color. So if I see green, without even hitting play, I know Steve is talking, whereas it switches to purple, and that's me talking. I have a 27-minute video. I don't want to post a 27-minute video to my YouTube Shorts or my TikTok. We're going to try this real time, and I like live demos because you never know when it's going to work or not work. Let's say instead of watching all 27 minutes, I just said, I want to find 5 clips that are about 40 seconds long. And I give it a little prompt. So this is one of the AI tools that's built in. It's called Create a Clip. It's going to look through the whole long form video and say, let's find 5 clips around 40 seconds, set them up in a layout like this. So it's going to be reframed vertical like an Instagram reel or TikTok, YouTube short. And I'm saying I want a social media ready clip that contains an entire idea or topic. Because if it's the middle of an idea, that's not a good clip. And I want most or all of the conversation of the clip to be me talking. I don't want to clip the interviewer talking to me. Now, if I watch this, which, I'm gonna do, I could also say, wow, that part would be a really good clip just with the transcript. In fact, let's hide the timeline because that's scary. And just highlighting this here, I could say that would be a good standalone clip. I could highlight it. And I can even, with this little folder, new page button, add it to the clips that I made. And I'll just have to reframe it because right now it's widescreen. And I'll have to reframe that vertical when I go to clips. So you can do this manually, but obviously it'd take you at least 30 minutes. Let's see, do you think an AI tool can find a usable, decent clip from a 30-minute interview? Here's the first one. You'll notice this. It reframed it automatically because it knows for clips I want 9:16. It also cut out some text here. It's trying to find an entire idea. So based on the transcript, let's see if this really is an entire idea. We should at least spend as much time on generative AI as we do fire extinguishers in 25. And then he says, how come? And then I answer. So let's see if it met the criteria of my prompt. Is it under 40 seconds? It is. It's about 28. Based on the amount of purple versus green in the waveform, am I doing most of the talking? I am. Is it an entire idea? I'm saying we should spend as much time on AI as we do training teachers about how to use fire extinguishers, which is kind of half sarcasm. And he kind of questions me to say why. And I finish like that's a whole thought right there. Now, what it's not going to do well, you'll see, is the framing. But here's how much effort it takes to make this clip, let's say, Instagram ready. I'm going to click the crop mode here. That's why I was grabbing. There's an overlay. I want to look at what's in this clip right here. I'm going to turn off this gradient. And basically what I want to do is say, can I get myself to be centered here? I made that look really hard. I'm just bad at clicking, apparently. Boom. And if you had a certain color, font, whatever that you like, the only thing I might consider, we talked about how to change when there's a silence and make sure there's not a harsh cut. I might trim that 1 second silence, but that's a legit usable clip that looks good. And really the only work it took from me was reframing the speaker. Where it does cut to the other guy, let's find the exact frame. I can put a slash. So I'm going to hit the slash key right here. And that puts in a new scene. Just because I don't want him to be all crooked. And then I'm going to go ahead with the playhead until the frame that's back to me. And I put another slash. So what we did is we just split this clip out. And now I'm just going to drag my other speaker to the middle. And let's see with an auto transition how that looks. I mean, that's 30 seconds of editing to get a really good clip. And a cool thing, if you're doing this for someone else and you don't want to play the game where you download a file, upload it to Google Drive, say, hey, your video's ready, give me feedback. One of my favorite features of Descript is I can export this just to the web and say, anybody who has the link to this can look at it. It's kind of like a view-only Google Doc. So you don't play the download upload game. And it's going to take a second to render, but like, let's say you're a content creator who had me making the clips, or I wanted feedback on that. I can just take the link to that video file and say, video is ready for review. Maybe you have a teaching partner and it's like a lecture that you're going to record, and you don't have to do any downloading, uploading. They can comment on it. If you're wondering if you should do social media, the answer is yes. The question is always about, how do I not lose my mind and have to quit my day job because it takes so much time to do all of this? If you're doing any kind of long form podcast, YouTube video, explanation videos, lecturing, just find a system that lets you create clips or reuse the transcript. You'll have a week of tweets from one of your long form podcasts. You just have to find ways to use it. So let's go questions before I put the coupon code, or Andy puts the coupon code in the chat for 3 months of this for free, which I'm not in sales, guys. So like, I just want to help people make more videos. That's my only angle, especially if you're in education or associated with Sana and Andy, because they're two of my friends. Questions, examples?
Okay, my question being, a lot of times people don't start creating content because they feel they don't have equipment and they need to invest in good equipment to do so. So, as a content creator, somebody who avidly creates video-based content, what's your suggestion about it, or what's your view perspectively about it? That, okay, do we need expensive devices and the whole setup to start off with it, or can somebody start with just their phone and then go ahead with slowly and gradually investing in their setup?
I love the look on Robert's face as you ask that question, because he knows the answer, and I'm going to say exactly what he thinks I'll say. I use this analogy because I live in Wyoming. So this is the land of hunting and fishing and mountains. I see people all the time who say, I want to get into fishing. So I'm going to buy the most expensive fishing rod and the most expensive waders. And I remind them, but you don't know how to fish. Like, I could give you the world's best equipment. It's not going to make you better until you have reps. What I tell content creators is you could have a 4-year-old Android phone. Like, it doesn't matter. Until you've posted 100 videos, you having the best mic or camera or studio lighting won't make your videos any better because you just
Mhm.
suck. And I know it sounds harsh. Um, like when I started making videos, I'm a little bit crazy. You don't have to do this. I said, well, if I'm going to make them, I'm going to make a video a day on TikTok. And people who were smarter than me said, it'll change your life, Aaron. Just do it. Just make yourself do it. Man, my first videos were so bad. They're selfie videos with no mic, no good lighting. I was green screening myself, that AI generated green screen that never looks very good. But the equipment would not have made my product better because I didn't know how to use it. Like, I didn't know what it took to make a good video. I would always spend my time and energy on reps over equipment. Like, if you have to ask, should I get that light or that phone or that camera or that mic? If you even have to ask, the answer is no, just make more videos.
Perfect.
Somebody else has got to have a question here. Does anybody else like let's just do a little poll, because if we can't get questions, we could even get reactions. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Do you post something on the internet weekly? It could be a blog, it could be social media. Who's in the weekly I post something out there club? Thumbs up or thumbs down? And then I don't know how you guys got the exploding thumbs. I can do the little reaction videos, I think, but okay. I It's hard and it can feel like a lot, but everybody who does it consistently will say the same thing. I wish I would have started sooner and I should have done more. I've never met anybody who's like, I should have waited a year before I started YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever they do. They all say, like, I wish I would have started 5 years before I did. My wife just didn't give me that talk then. I needed that talk from my wife. Okay, awesome. If you guys want to check it out for 3 months on the creator plan, which is like the mid, it's not the cheapest, you can use this code. If you have questions, this is even more important. You guys can look me up on any of the social media platforms. My personal email is right there in the chat. It's just my name at myname.com because I'm not creative like that. And you're like, hey, could you help me? I can't figure out how to edit this. Or even if you just want to talk about social media, videos, anything that you're working on, if you're a part of this group, you're in my orbit as well. And I would be happy to do a quick Zoom or look at your project or even just chat someday with you about whatever you guys want to talk about. Uh, I also want to thank Sonia and Andy for having me on this morning. I know everybody's spread across the world in crazy different time zones, so some of you missed out on breakfast, some of you lunch, some of you it's like dinner time. Uh, as a world history teacher, I just love that we live in a time where some guy in Wyoming at 7 a.m. can talk with people in different countries who speak different languages on different continents. Like that is so crazy to me that we can do this. And it makes me so appreciative to get this opportunity. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. We actually, I think that the biggest message here is also that you're so kind, to share your knowledge and your expertise. And I think that that also is a message that goes within the time. So thank you very much, Aaron. We really appreciate it. By the way, one last question from the audience. They're asking how they can use the coupon because sometimes it is a little bit confusing. So if you don't mind going over that.
Yep. So it's just descript.com. And if you want to look, there is an education plan. So if you're nonprofit, work for university, a college, whatever, there is an education plan. But this coupon code is for the next one up. So for 3 months, if you want the creator plan, you'll see there's 3 little vertical tiles of the plans. You could do this one. First of all, just see if you like it, because if you don't, that's okay too. And get 3 months of the creator for free, which is the middle plan. And then you could always, if you don't want to keep that or you're not using it enough to justify the cost, you could bump it back down. And if you have questions about the education one, the education plan is about 1/3 the price, I think, of that one. So if you're someone who goes, I might do 1 or 2 videos a month, again, just reach out to me if you have questions and I can help make sure you're on the right one. It's also something, if you work for a university or an education institution, you should talk to them about, they give you the email address and the Google Docs or Drive. They should, in 2025, they should be getting you access to AI tools and video tools if they want to be relevant in education.
Well, thank you very much. Guys, if you don't have more questions, I think that we can call it a day. What do you guys think if we open our cameras for those that can and we take like a group picture, if that's all right, for social media? Since we're talking about, creating content. So what about that? Yes, are we open for that?
Yes.
Okay, well, for those that have their cameras on, all right. Oh, yes. Thank you, Nasir, for opening your camera. Anybody else before I take the screenshot? Okay, smile pretty. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so okay, one moment because people are starting to we might take another picture. Hold on because I want to save this one. Okay, so again, one more time and cheese. All right, Aaron, you already have created a fan base here because people are asking when is it that you're coming back. So you're that great. There you go. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming, Aaron. We are really, really grateful that you came. And well, see you guys in another session. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Andy and Sana.
Bye.